Hello, wrestling fans, and I have another past pay-per-view review for you, seeing that Impact Wrestling, which began as Total Nonstop Action, is about to celebrate 20 years of existence. I have TNA Slammiversary 2006. This was took place on June 18, 2006, and ever since 2005, their anniversary show has been titled Slammiversary. Now, 2006 was like my favorite year for TNA, and you understand why as we go along here. But the event kicks off as Mike Tenay and Don West are welcoming the viewers at home, but then all of a sudden, Team 3D, aka the Dudley Boys, and the James Gang, who we knew as the New Age Outlaws, they start brawling in the entrance tunnel right ahead of their Bingo Hall Brawl match. Eventually, chairs and a kendo stick were brought into play. Kip James, who we knew was Billy Gunn, took the back suplex neckbreaker combo from Team 3D. They both teams ended up near where LAX were positioned with Jack Melendez when LAX were, I guess, on strike at the time. They ended up attacking both teams as they came over there. Brother Ray, Bully Ray, Bubba Ray, hip tosses Kip on a rail set up on two chairs. They had crowd brawled. Kip used the trash can lid on both members of Team 3D. Ray used the cheese grater on Kip, busting him open. They attempt the what's up headbutt in the groin, but BG James had like a trash can lid in place to catch Devon trying to headbutt him. Anyway, sometimes I can't read my handwriting here. Oh, actually, yeah. At one point, BG was down on the mat. Ray used a golf club on, I think, BG James's groin with a trash can or a trash can lid in the way. Kip James kicks out of the Doomsday Device. Eventually, Kip James is takes the Dudley Death Drop or Team 3D through the table and gets pinned, enabling Team 3D to win the matchup. Next up, we see a handicap match as the War Machine Rhino took on Bobby Roode and Coach Scott D'Amore. Now, a month earlier at Sacrifice, Bobby Roode defeated Rhino one-on-one, and Roode interfered in Rhino's match with Abyss, which was a King of the Mountain qualifying matchup. Rhino wanted revenge, and he said he was going to face two members of Team Canada, and he declared it would be Bobby Roode and Coach D'Amore. As soon as Rhino's music hits, Coach D'Amore runs out of the ring before the bell. Roode hits Rhino with an ace crusher. D'Amore hits a jawbreaker on Rhino, also hits a knee drop. Roode takes a belly suplex. Roode hits a neck breaker. Coach missed a moonsault. Coach used the Canadian flag on the hockey stick on Rhino. Rhino eventually hits a spine buster on D'Amore and hits him with the gore and pins him to win the matchup and put an end to their feud. Next up is a six-way match where the winner would become number one contender to the X Division Championship, as we see Senshi, known to many as Low Key, Shark Boy, Petey Williams, Jay Lethal, not quite Black Machismo yet, Alex Shelley, and Sanjay Dutt. At one point, Shark Boy bites Petey Williams in the hiney. Senshi and Lethal, they exchange chops. Lethal hit his lethal combo. I forgot who he hit it on. It was the hip toss, cartwheel to the drop kick. Dutt hit a Hurricane Rana on Shelley. Senshi, Shelley, Wait, I'm sorry. It was no. Shark Boy, Lethal, and Dutt triple suplex Senshi, Petey, and Shelly. And then the eliminations went as follows. Sanjay Dutt pinned Shark Boy with the shooting star press on the mat. Lethal pins Shelly with a dragon suplex. Lethal was pinned by Petey Williams after taking the Canadian Destroyer. Senshi pins Petey with a top rope stomp. And Senshi stomps the Sanjay Dutt while he's caught in the tree of whoa. And Senshi won the match to become #1 contender to the X Division Championship. Next matchup, we see Chris Sabin go one-on-one with Kevin Nash. Now, Nash at that point had recently returned to TNA after he was unable to challenge for the world title at the first ever Bound for Glory the previous October. Now, upon his return, he aligned himself with Alex Shelley, and Nash said he wanted to become a part of the X Division and make it better. Well, so this match was on, and Alex Shelley eventually comes out to ringside. He removes the turnbuckle pad off one of the turnbuckles. Nash tries to drop Sabin into it, but Nash ends up hitting that unprotected buckle. At one point, Shelley grabs Sabin's foot when he was hitting the ropes. Nash boots him in the face, hits a side slam. Sabin fights back. Eventually, he picks Nash up, tries to give him the cradle shot, but Shelley's hanging on to Nash's foot. Sabin dies on the Shelley on the floor. Hits a top rope leg drop. Shelley catches Sabin on the crotches Sabin on the exposed turnbuckle. Nash hits the jackknife powerbomb and he pins him to win the match. Next up, we see America's Most Wanted, Wildcat Chris Harris and Cowboy James Storm defend the Tag Team Championship against the phenomenal AJ Styles and the Fallen Angel Christopher Daniels, in which Daniels and Styles, this was their last chance at the Tag Team Championship as long as AMW were the champions. Styles and Daniels were doing quick tag work with James Storm in the ring. AJ Styles hit the Pele on Storm. Daniels hit the Blue Thunder Bomb on Storm. Gail Kim attempts to interfere, but out comes this woman who was supposed to be this neutralizer Styles and Daniels had for her. And she chokeslams Gail Kim and then carries her to the back. Styles hit the top rope forearm before it was a phenomenal forearm. And then he hits the moonsault DDT. Misses the spiral tap, or spinal tap, on Chris Harris. Harris used the handcuffs on AJ Styles, but Styles kicked out of that. Daniels hit a Death Valley driver on Harris. Storm took the Angel's wings, and I think everybody was just kicking out of everything at this point. Harris drops an elbow on the referee who was trying to make the count at that point. James Storm grabs the beer bottle, and he I forgot who he was intended to hit, but he accidentally hits Harris with it. Styles hit a splash with the top rope, followed by Christopher Daniels hitting the best moonsault ever, enabling Daniels and Styles to win the Tag Team Championship. Pretty much seemed like the best match of the show. Then they showed some history of what at that point was 4 years of moments and highlights in TNA's history. Mike Tenay's in the ring, and he introduces Jim Cornette as the new Director of Authority. And I forgot what Cornette said. Then our next matchup, we see Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner take on Samoa Joe. Early in the match, Joe took a belly-to-belly suplex. Joe eventually got the advantage. He tried for the face wash in the corner, but Steiner bailed out of the ring. Joe dives out on the floor on Steiner. Steiner hit a powerbomb, and he tried to go for a pin. Joe hits a triangle choke on Steiner. Steiner uses a chair on Joe. Joe eventually hits a Blue Thunder Bomb. Puts Steiner in the Coquina Clutch, but Steiner kept avoiding it, even let low blow Joe with a back kick. Steiner gives Joe the Kobashi Plex, puts him in the Steiner recliner, but Joe powers out of it, and he electric chair drops Steiner on the top rope, power slams him, and pins him to win the match. At this time, Samoa Joe was X Division champion, but it was not on the line in this matchup. Then it was time for the main event. It was the King of the Mountain match, as we saw then NWA champion Christian Cage versus Sting versus Jeff Jarrett versus the Monster Abyss versus Robin Truth Killings. Now, the rules of this matchup is, in order to win the match, a wrestler has to score a pinfall or a submission, and the person who submits or gets pinned has to spend 2 minutes in a penalty box. And once a wrestler scores a pin, they are now qualified to take the championship belt, climb the ladder, and hang the belt above the ring. Well, in the early going of the match, Sting brawled with Abyss on the floor. Cage dived onto Jeff Jarrett. Truth hit a dive to the floor. Sting jumped off the penalty box with a dive onto everybody. Jeff took the Stinger Splash. And then Truth, I think he pins Jeff with a dropkick off the top rope. Jeff had to go into the penalty box. Truth qualified. Now was able to go climb the ladder and try to hang the belt. The ladder was brought into play. Cage pinned Abyss with a roll-up, and just as Abyss was about to go in the penalty box, Jeff Jarrett's time was up. Jeff hits the stroke on Truth off the apron onto the guardrail and pins him on the floor to qualify. Jeff and Abyss had the ladder, and Truth is on the ladder. They both have each end of the ladder. This was a scary and sick bump here. Truth's laying on the ladder. Jeff and Abyss are on each side. They're holding him up. They picked up the ladder. Sending Truth over the top rope out to the floor. Abyss accidentally throws a ladder at referee Earl Hebner. Abyss and Jarrett arguing about who's gonna go hang the belt. Abyss gives Jeff the black hole slam. Sting shakes the ladder, sending Abyss crashing through tables that were set up outside on the floor. Cage takes the Stinger Splash and he's putting the Scorpion Deathlock, but referee Earl Hebner's down the whole time. Jeff uses the belt on Sting. Jeff eventually takes the Scorpion Death Drop. Cage tries to hang the belt, but Larry Zbyszko hits Cage in the balls while he's out climbing the ladder. Sting attacks Zbyszko. He goes out to the floor. Sting death drops Jeff again. Sting and Cage are climbing the ladder. They got the belt. They're trying to fighting over who's going to get to hang it. Hebner seemingly had pushed Sting and Cage off the apron, but what the camera didn't show was Jarrett, I think, grabbed Hebner to the point where he grabbed the ladder to break his, so he wouldn't fall. At that point, let me see. Yeah, Jeff climbs the ladder and he hangs the belt above the ring to win the title again. And even before he managed to hang the belt, before the bell rang to end the match, the fans and that crowd was livid. They were throwing garbage. Hebner and Zbyszko were running out of there, and Jarrett's like on the ramp celebrating, but referee Rudy Charles takes the belt away from him, gives it to Jim Cornette, and Jeff saying, "No, no!" And then the pay-per-view had gone off the air. This is actually my first time seeing this show that took place, 16 years ago this month. And like I said, 2006 TNA was very good, from the return of Sting and his feud with Jarrett, Christian Cage winning the NWA belt, Scott Steiner debuts. Well, the demise as time went on, the demise of Team Canada. Now, what else can I think of here? LAX, of course, was there at the time. But one thing I couldn't. Eventually, they did that year that I didn't like. Now, as I said, Kevin Nash had returned to be aligned with Alex Shelley. Eventually, they started this ridiculous thing called the PCS, the Paparazzi Championship Series. It was Nash was like Meister of Ceremonies. It was Alex Shelley, Sanjay Dutt, Jay Lethal, Senshi, and Alex Shelley, Sanjay Dutt, Jay Lethal, Senshi, and I believe Austin Starr, who we know as Austin Aries. And yet they're doing these silly things. I mean, they're doing push-up contests, they're doing limbo, they're playing poker. I mean, how happy could those 5 guys have been at the time? I mean, these guys didn't get in the business to do push-ups and limbo and play cards. Just let them wrestle. My God. Ooh. My goodness. I mean, I don't know if Vince Russo was had the book yet in TNA, but that sounds like something Russo would have his fingerprints on. But nonetheless, this was a great TNA pay-per-view from my favorite year, TNA 2006. And honestly, at the end of 2006, the TNA I knew and loved pretty much died. I mean, 2007 was an okay year for them, but as time went on, things started to slip. Especially having a dum-dum like Dixie Carter running the place. So let me know what you folks think of this past TNA pay-per-view. Let me know if you want me to do more TNA pay-per-views in the future. Because I'm sure, I mean, I have some from the past that were good shows and stuff. So let me know. And hopefully, I hope I get to watch Slammiversary this Sunday night, as Impact Wrestling, which is what we know TNA as today, will be celebrating their 20th year to the date, June 19th.